Hello, my friend. Welcome to live chat. I debated about whether I wanted to talk about this or not because it is a tricky topic. And I do have some different things that I want to talk about as far as James Charles, the choices that he's made, and the impact of those choices. So I want to say right away, trigger warning, we're going to be talking about adults and inappropriate texts, messages, things like that with children. If that bothers you, please do not watch this part of chat. I'm going to try to move on from this at the 30-minute mark so that we can talk about other things. I have a bunch of stuff I want to show you makeup wise. So I will be putting timestamps as soon as I can after this video renders. So if you don't want to talk about this topic, if you don't want to hear about it, just look at the timestamps and skip ahead. If you're here live, come back 30 minutes in and hopefully we'll be wrapping this up. So if you have not caught up on what's happening with James, James has gotten in some trouble for sending inappropriate soliciting, I guess, texts to minors as young as 15. He made an apology video, talked about two of the people, said that the people lied, the boys lied about their age. The apology video, we'll talk about it, but he said that he thought that they were 18. Again, we'll talk about it. And yeah, so right now the video is sitting at more percentage likes than dislikes. It's got over 5 million views. But I do want to talk about that. Yeah. So before we get into that, I do want to say hello very quickly to the collective brain of makeup awesomeness, also known as the people that are here live. And if you're watching on the replay, you're participating in the collective brain in the comments down below. Happy Easter if you celebrate. Happy Passover if you celebrate. Yeah. Good morning to Teresa M.O., who is always one of the first people here, one of my fabulous moderators. Teresa, I love you dearly. Thank you so much for being here and for always being here and for being amazing. I appreciate you so very much. And the rest of the moderators, of course, I appreciate you as well. You all are amazing. I have the best team of moderators ever. So just thank you so much for being here. You don't have to be here. You're not paid to be here, but you are, and I appreciate you. Amber is here. Alicia is here. Happy Easter to you. Happy Easter to Amber. Happy Easter to Liz and NK Burlington, Michelle and Leanne, Libby and Jess, and Glum Life Guru. Glum Life Guru is so James Charles'd out. Well, you can, if you want to, you can come back at the 30-minute mark and we'll move on to something else. Christine says, good morning and happy Easter. Good morning to you. Clarissa, good morning. Casey, Damaris, and Ashley, Alyssa, Amy, and Marissa, and Monica. Good morning to you. If I did not say good morning to you, good morning to you. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so, okay. So first thing I want to talk about is I don't even know where to start because there's so many things in my head that I want to talk about this and so many things I'm thinking. Just first off, kind of just my opinion about his choices. I honestly, this is where I personally think that he may have been coming from. Of course, I'm not in James Charles's head. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know him personally. I exchanged a few private DMs with him, a while back, like when his Morphe palette launched. And I met him one time right before the CoverGirl thing hit. So, I mean, it was like a conversation of maybe, he was mostly talking to the person that I was with. He wasn't even really talking to me. So, yeah, I had no idea who he was at the time. Oh, no, that's not true. It was right after the ring light picture came out. So I did know who he was, but I just learned who he was. Anyway, point is, I don't know the guy very well, but this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that he was thinking in his head, that these boys would be happy to be in contact with James Charles, be honored to be talking to him. And I think that maybe he might have thought that he was close enough in age that it wouldn't matter, honestly. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think that it's just like, how do you justify something like that? And this is what I'm trying to think. I'm trying to play devil's advocate. I'm trying to get in his head. Like, how do you justify messaging a 15-year-old? Even if they tell you they're 18, how do you justify that? Because these boys look really young. They don't look 18. Like, if I ran an 18 and older club, there's no way I would let these boys in. Like, they look like they're 15, 16. And he's not that far separated from that age group. It's, you know, I feel like he should have known that they were too young, but obviously continued the conversation and went with, if they did say they were 18, you know. And also it was on their social media. If you took a second to look back at their social media, there was the one boy that it said, James had said happy birthday to him. And in one of his, I don't know how far back in his Snapchat, but it's, or not Snapchat, I guess it was, I don't know which social media app it was on, but he said, you know, that he's 15. So I mean, just, I'm trying to think of how we could justify it. There's absolutely no justification. But when anybody does anything terrible, I feel like there's a way that they try to justify it in their mind. And I'm trying to figure that out. Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. And I did put out a tweet where I was talking about, you know, how inappropriate it is, no matter what, for an adult to contact a child in a relationship kind of way, and why. I'll link that tweet down in the description. I don't want to repeat it. I told a more sensitive story of when I was a child. I often had men coming up to me telling me how pretty I was, you know, what are you doing later, all of that, like men mostly in their 20s, you know, propositioning me when I was like 13, 14, 15. And it really changed my opinion of, like, my whole outlook on dating. And it was scary. It was scary because, you know, they were bigger than me. They were stronger than me. They were, you know, when I was with a friend who was just as little as I was, I mean, I was 5'5", probably weighed 95 pounds at the time. I mean, I was really, you know, very tiny. You know, it's scary to have a big guy come up to you. And I know it's not the exact same thing as James Charles. It's totally different. It's not totally different, but it's in the same family of things where you've got this very powerful person. You've got this famous person who people will wait in line for all day to see him just for a moment. You know, crowds gathered, you know, thousands of people gathered. You know, his videos get multi-millions of views each one. I mean, he's admired by children all over the world. And to have this guy giving you attention, it's got to, you know, at first maybe feel, oh my gosh, this is so cool, this famous person is talking to me, but then it gets a little creepy. And I think that's where maybe James just didn't realize, or maybe he did and didn't care. I don't know. We won't know what's really in his head. So I want to talk about that first, but then I want to talk about the impact of how this is going to impact him in the future. I think there's a lot of opinions on this. Tina says, I doubt he didn't look on their social media and see their age. He knew. You think so? Yeah. And Karen says you don't need to get in his head. And I think that's just my, you know, just my nature is to want to understand why people do what they do. And that's just who I am as a person. I have we've talked about this before. I have an undergraduate degree in psychology. I have an associate's degree in mental health. It's just part of who I am to want to understand how people work. So that's where it comes from. I know I don't need to get in his head. It's not really necessary, but I get you, Karen. Wendy says, if you have to ask someone how old they are, they're probably too young for you. Does that make sense? Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely. Totally. Totally. Yeah. Christine, you can't justify it. He justifies it by thinking he's untouchable. Yeah. Yeah. Ashley says it's victim blaming. That's a predator and it's gross. And I would like, it is 100% not these boys' fault. 100%. They're children. They're children, and he's an adult. And he said that in his apology video, that he's an adult. He's the adult, and he should have made sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, people have been telling him that, but he hasn't been listening. And now he's in this position, and he needs to blame himself. And he sounds like he is blaming himself. But just saying, like, the part in his video that really bothered me was when he was like, the reason why I did this is because I'm desperate. You're desperate for children. Like, that's the first thing I thought in my head is like, this is not, no, absolutely zero. No, I don't think being desperate, I think that's probably one of the worst things I think the worst thing that he said in his video is that justified it somehow, that he was desperate. Maybe I'm misinterpreting. But I just found that totally gross. You know, and I honestly don't know if he realized the impact of what he was doing, he could do to these kids. Either he didn't realize or he didn't care. We won't probably ever know. But yeah, I mean, this is just, yeah. Okay, a couple more comments, and then I want to move on past what he did and talk about the future. So Lucy says, I'm starting to think that he's just doing a modern version of a peeping Tom, which is gross, looking at all these profiles of young boys. Yeah. And I think that honestly, it seems like he just, I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into it. Yeah, Selen says, even in the way he worded his apology, it doesn't sound like he's going to stop using social media like a dating app. I think he will. I honestly think he will. If he does, he'll be a lot more careful. I think because that's a good segue. That's a good segue. So what I wanted to talk about is kind of the how this is impacting him so far. His stuff is still on Morphe's website. He was, let's see, what else? Even after that, he was sent the Elf Chipotle collab. He won a Nickelodeon Kids Choice Award, which I thought was just like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? Like, I know it was like the day before or 2 days before, but there had to have been a way to change that. I don't know what happens at Nickelodeon, but that's just, I couldn't believe it. Things have gotten worse since the Nickelodeon award, but still, I feel like that he should never have gotten the Nickelodeon award. That's just gross. But he hasn't been pulled from anything, I don't think, that I know of. Maybe I just missed something. Yeah. So Chrissy says it's going to affect sales for Morphe. I think he needs to take a break for a while and get help. I think so too. I think he definitely needs to be in therapy, in my opinion. And I think anybody that struggles with anything that impacts their life would benefit from therapy. So therapy is a positive thing. I know some people use therapy like you need therapy as like a negative thing, but I think anybody that, has thoughts that are impacting their life in a negative way could benefit from that. So, and this is the big thing that I was thinking when all this went out is that he has been talking about, he has this makeup line coming out, that it's going to be a James Charles makeup line. And my thought was it was going to be under the Forma Brands umbrella, which is where Jacqueline Cosmetics is under the Forma Brands umbrella. There's a bunch of other brands underneath there. Well, Morphe is now technically under Forma, Morphe 2. They have a supplement line. They have they bought Lipstick Queen. There's a bunch of other brands under there, but I had a feeling in my soul that the James Charles makeup line was going to be a Forma brand. But this does not look so good. So like, let's say they were planning on launching this summer, James's makeup line. Everything's probably already printed. I mean, he's been talking about this for a while, and the way he was teasing on Twitter was that it wasn't that far away. Everything's already printed. Everything's already filled and probably ready to go at this point, or at least close to it. So what do you do at that point if you're Morphe, if you're Forma Brands, which are owned by the people who own Morphe, what do you do? You've got all this stuff, and now you've got a guy who is, has admitted to a crime, essentially. What do you do? And even if it is his own independent brand, I mean, how much money he's sunk into it, So the question is this going to impact that launch? I mean, looking at the likes and dislikes on his apology video, he's still going to have sales. He's still going to be able to sell because there are obviously people that accept his apology, even though I feel like the only people that really can accept his apology are the people that he's hurt. It seems like, there are a lot of people that thumbs up his apology and felt like it was a good apology. I mean, one thing I can say about his apology is that he followed the apology script, right? If anybody can Google how to make an apology video, and you can find the steps. And you notice he follows those steps perfectly. First thing he says, first thing I want to do is I want to say I'm sorry. It was, there was editing in it, but it was relatively minimal. He wasn't wearing makeup in the video. He didn't get all done up for it. I mean, you can just check all the things you're supposed to do in an apology video. And he did those things. And I think that's why it's so liked and why I think a lot of people are like okay with it, I guess. But I think it will impact it, but I think it's the same as other people who have done racist things or, other things. There are still people that are like, man, it's not that big of a deal. It's like, oh my gosh. And for me personally, I think this is the thing too, is it's like, okay, so let's say he does have changed behavior and that we don't see that he is doing these things anymore. Does that mean he's actually not doing them anymore? Or is he just getting better at hiding it? And that's the way I feel about some people that have displayed racist behavior before, is it's like, are they not racist anymore? Or are they just better at hiding that they're racist? Are they just being smarter about it? So it's like you never really know whether someone has changed or not. Because we say, changed behavior is the way we can know that someone has, is making different choices or whatever. But there's really no way to know. So it's going to be up to the individual person. Oh, yeah, that's right, Christina. I forgot about this. He taught people on Instant Influencer how to do an apology video. How can you believe it's a true apology? Wow, that's an excellent point.
People said, and I just looked it up, he was canceled as the host for the next season.
Yes, thank you, John. I appreciate that. I got little backup over here that he was canceled as the host for the next season of Instant Influencer. Instant Influencer did very, very, very well. There were billboards for it, and the views on it were massive. And that he was canceled as the host of it for next time. I'm curious to see who they're gonna pick for that. So. Yeah, Caitlin says a lot of people say it's too late for therapy, but I think it's never too late to get help. But he needs to quit social media too and focus on his mental health. Yeah, I think that it's, we don't really know what's going on in his head, but it seems like there's definitely something that he could probably use some outside perspective from somebody that isn't his friend, from somebody that's a professional that knows what they're doing, and. I feel like that's definitely a great route. Take a little bit of time, do some introspection. I think that's a good idea. Yeah, Love says the same thing. Love my 2 XYs. Yeah, same thing. Yeah. Yeah, Kelsey says it was not an apology, it was admittance of a crime. How does the video not incriminate him? I think it did incriminate him. He's going to have to, if he gets taken to court, he's going to have to prove that those boys told him that they were 18. And even then, it's not their responsibility. Like, it's his responsibility as an adult to make sure he's not breaking the law. I mean, when we do anything in life, it's our responsibility to make sure we don't break the law. When we drive a car, we need to make sure we don't drive through stop signs. I mean, this is trivial, obviously, in comparison, but I'm talking about the average person. You go to the grocery store, you need to make sure that you go through the self-checkout, you need to make sure you scan everything. I mean, it's our responsibility as adults not to break the law, no matter what the law is, whether it's something small, something big. It's his responsibility, and I don't see any defense for that. So I think at this point, it's up to, I don't know enough about the law to know whether someone actually has to press charges in order for something criminal to happen to him, or if it, if it's just illegal, period, and he could just get arrested. I don't know. I don't know enough about the law. But what freaks me out the most is that he does have so many young people following him and watching him, and parents that just may not know what happened. And they may go to mom and dad and say, or just mom or just dad or whatever, and just say, hey, guess who DM'd me? I'm so excited. James Charles DM'd me. And it's like, parents are like, oh, that's so cool. If kids even tell their parents these days. Your kids don't typically tell their parents things, but I would imagine that would be like a highlight that a kid might tell their parents, and parents are like, cool, that's neat, Yeah, ignorance is not a defense in the court of law. Yeah. And he needed to be responsible, and he wasn't. And he said that he wasn't responsible, but at the same time, it's like, he's been told this. Like, not to bring it back to Tati, but it seemed like Tati was trying to be a mentor to him and try to tell him that the way he was going about dating was bad. It was not a good way to go about dating. And she tried to talk to him about that. way back a couple of years ago. So, between, that time and now, it's like, how many people haven't said anything? How many people has he messaged inappropriately that haven't said anything? They're so scared, that don't want to get him in trouble because they like him so much and they don't want to upset him, because of that power dynamic. How many people aren't saying anything? We just don't know. We're never going to know. Yeah, Cosmic Slice, I doubt he'll get help. He did not come off as someone who thinks he did anything wrong. I mean, he said in the video he knows he did something wrong. So we need to at least acknowledge that he did say out loud he knows he did something wrong. Whether he internalizes that, we don't know because we can't see inside of his head. But it's definitely possible that he is just saying what he needs to say. Possible. Yes.
You have a ton of new people in here now. You just want to give a really brief recap of what you're going over.
Oh, okay.
Slide into the next topic. Just because people are like, what did he do?
Okay. All right. John said that there's a lot of people that are just coming in that are not sure what I'm talking about. Basically, James Charles admitted to sending inappropriate DMs to minors as young as 15 years old. He does have an apology video up right now if you'd like to watch that. There's also a bunch of videos kind of recapping the whole thing with the screenshots of everything. And he admitted that he did not check their IDs, and they looked young. They looked very young. They did not look 18. So yeah, I mean, Kat says, who told him that I was desperate line was a good one to use? Yeah, it was not. It was not. And I'm hoping that he surrounds himself with some better people, because this is just something else. Yeah, this is interesting. Zulema says, except then Tati tried to take it back and make it seem like Jeffrey and Shane were saying things about James. Yes, exactly. And this is kind of, you guys know how much I love Tati. Tati is not perfect. I am biased toward Tati. I'm just going to say it. For a while, I wasn't sure if I was biased, but I am. I feel like she was kind of backed into a corner because, especially with James coming out and saying that he may have made a choice that a trigger warning, I don't want to go into detail, but he might have made a choice that he would regret later. When she found out that he was that upset about it, and when people found out that he was that upset about it, and that she knew he could be that upset about it and still continue to make her video, even with the chance that he could do something he couldn't take back, I think people had less sympathy for Tati. And I think Tati felt like, this is my opinion, that she had to take back everything that she said about James. Maybe she was wrong. Maybe she was second guessing herself. Maybe it wasn't real. Maybe what she saw wasn't, maybe she's making a big deal over nothing. Maybe it really wasn't that bad. Maybe, it's possible that she, was just really second guessing herself because the entirety of the internet was telling her how awful she was for what she said about him without having more proof, I guess. I don't know. So I think there was a lot of pressure there for her to take back her words. Cassandra, thank you so much for joining the Collective Brain Elite. I appreciate you. Thank you. Hi there says, I think Tati backtracked because she didn't have enough proof to back her up after the Sam guy, so she had to. Yeah. I think it was one of those things where, everybody's telling you you're wrong. Everybody's telling you you're making things up. Everybody's telling you, that you didn't see what you saw, and what you did see wasn't that big of a deal. You think, well, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I didn't see things that I thought I saw. I'm pretty sure that's the definition of gaslighting. But I'm not, well-versed on that term. Every time I try to use it, I feel like I use it wrong. So yeah. Shelly says Petty Page is counted. He's up to at least 8 underage guys. That's a pattern. He's a predator. And I think that I think he needs some help. I think he needs help because this can cause, like I said in my tweet that I'll link down below after the chat is over, I think this could cause permanent damage to these kids who, are just learning about dating, just learning about what it's like to be in a relationship, and to have this adult talk to them that way. you know?
Kevin James is
Yeah, I just saw Kevin James Bennett in the house. Hello. How are you? I haven't talked to you in forever. How you been? KJB says, I believe there was a legal reason for everyone backtracking the accusations. Jeffree Star is not one to apologize for anything, true. And he took back what he said. Did everyone get a cease and desist? Maybe. And maybe they didn't have the physical proof. Maybe they didn't have, they had experiences, but not the physical. This is my proof, you know? Thank you to Glum Life Guru for becoming a channel member. I appreciate you. I just want to let you know, if you do become a channel member and I don't shout you out, the software I'm in doesn't always show everybody. So if I miss you, I'm so sorry, but thank you. Yeah. Colleen says he's been doing tricky stuff like this since at least high school. He admitted to it in a video, so I doubt he's had a big turnaround so quick. Yeah. And we have to remember, too, is that it was found out that his whole thing he blew up on, which was the ring light picture, where he had retaken his high school photo with a ring light because he didn't like the lighting, and he supposedly brought in his ring light to retake the photo, that was found out to be fake and not real. At least that's what I heard, that it was all fake. And so his whole come up was based on a lie, allegedly. So it's like, how many other things are a lie? How many other things are a manipulation? It makes you wonder, you kind of, keep thinking about that. Yeah. Cheryl says, if it was the first time, maybe, but still wrong. He's done this several times and hasn't learned or cared. He fake cries and says sorry, but not really. He thinks he can do whatever he wants. Yeah. I mean, I think that I'm sure, I can imagine, I can't say I'm sure, I can imagine that if I had made a mistake this big, which, oh my gosh, that he knows that this is a time that this is going to impact his whole career. And that may be part of the reason why tears are coming, why the emotions are coming. I don't know. Did he cry though? I don't remember him crying, but he may be getting more emotional, possibly, potentially, because he knows that this is going to impact him more than other scandals he's been in. Yeah, this is a really good point, Melissa. I always felt like Tati should have called him out long before and not after the vitamin issue. She seemed less credible because of it. Yeah. And I think that it's one of those things where when you are friends with somebody, you don't want to blow them up publicly. You want to help them. You want to help them. You want to help them be better. And blowing them up publicly is probably not going to help them be better. That's a I'm giving up on you action. So maybe she was still trying to help him at that point. But I totally understand what you're saying, Melissa. And I think that there are a lot of people that feel the same way. And I do think that it did make her lose some credibility, that was when she chose to talk about it. Because if he was truly hurting people, stopping that so he can't hurt anybody else is important. Maybe not publicly, but somehow privately. I don't know. But it's so sad. I just feel so sad for the people that, the boys. I just feel so bad for them. Jessica, thank you so much for becoming a Collective Brain Elite member. I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, Sandy says JC is so young. I'm not making excuses, but in your 20s, you think you know everything. But yeah, I think that most 20-year-olds know this. I don't know if that's, I'm not, where's the line, of being too young, but I think, I think he should definitely have known better at this point. I tweeted out jokingly, this kind of reminds me of, if you've ever seen Dazed and Confused, Matthew McConaughey's character comes on there and he's hanging out with the high school kids. And it's like, it's set in the 70s if you've never seen it. And Matthew McConaughey's character, they're looking at the high school girls and he says, I love high school girls. I keep getting older, but they always stay the same age, and it was meant as a joke in the movie. But that's what this reminded me of, is, him still thinking that he can hang with high schoolers. And maybe because he does hang with all of those TikTokers, maybe he just hasn't accepted that he's an adult. he's not in high school anymore. He can't act like a high schooler. He can't date high schoolers. He can't go to prom. It's just not, you just can't. You can't. An 18-year-old and a 17-year-old, that, maybe, but beyond an 18-year-old and a 17-year-old, I mean, I know that that's still really, that's still illegal, 18 and 17. But that I might, maybe in my head be like, okay, well, maybe. But even an 18-year-old needs to know what the law is. Yeah. Yeah, good point, Mia. When I was 22, no one I knew would even think of talking to anyone under 18 because they're not attracted to an older person. And I feel the same way. Absolutely. I mean, like, just because they look, there's a difference between the way that a child, like, it's a child. It's so gross. It's just so gross. It's so sad. It's so gross. Sad for the boys, meaning. Yeah. Yeah. Kevin says he was warned in 2019 that his predatory behavior was not okay. How could he say he wasn't aware? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that he legit didn't care. I mean, or I honestly don't think he saw any problem with it, or else he wouldn't have done it if he saw any problem with it. All right. We are 31 minutes in. My final thoughts on this, because I do want to have chat about, we can talk about other things. We can talk about Hank and Henry if you all want to, because that was bad. That was a bad situation. But I do want to take a little bit of a break and stop this because I want people who, I want people to be able to tune to the rest. But just final thoughts. I hope that James gets help. I hope that that parents become aware of what their children are doing online. I hope that young boys are, just young people in general, just take better care of themselves and just, red flags and get out, I don't know. That just sounds so stupid. It's such a serious thing. And I just hope that he gets help and doesn't hurt anybody else. And I will 100% not be buying anything with his name attached. I can't see any reason why, even in the future, I would buy anything with his name attached. It's okay. Let's stop. Okay. And we'll talk about Hank and Henry in a minute. It's not good, my friends. It is not good. And I did not know that Hank and Henry was this kind of person. And we'll talk about it. But before we do, we're going to say hi to Haley real quick. Hi, baby. Let's take we need a palate cleanser. Because we need to yes.
Hi, mama.
Hi, baby. This is my baby. Like, whenever I feel sad, she makes me feel so much better. She is like the best emotional support puppy ever, even though she's almost 2. She's going to be 2 in a couple weeks.
Okay.
So, yeah, thank you. All right. And then let's talk a little bit about, she's a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, by the way, in case, little puppy babies, in case you were wondering. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what's on my face, because I just, John went to the studio and picked up PR, and I didn't have any of this for filming What's Up in Makeup, but I'm really excited about some of the things that I got, that I'm thinking about making a full video on this stuff, talk about it. So this is from Milani. This is a huge, huge, huge PR package from Milani. And I'm really curious about this stuff. It looks like this. You may have seen it on other people's channels. I just got it. And there are 4 trays of products in here. Oh my gosh. So you open this up and there's, and there's these trays of products. My jaw dropped. I cannot believe this. This is crazy. So, I definitely want to do something with this. If there's anything that I want to do something with this. So there's a peach line, a berry line, there's an avocado line, and a cherry line. Can you see that down there? So it says only at Walgreens, cruelty free. So I'm going to be playing with this stuff. It's a lot of skincare in here. So I was thinking about maybe doing just a quick, like first impression review of like the skincare with the ingredients or something like that. You'll have to tell me in the comments or in chat what you think, you'd like to see. There isn't a ton of makeup in there. It's a lot of skincare. So today on my face, I use the cherry blush. Oh my gosh, this was way too pigmented for me. And when I say pigmented, I mean that I dabbed my brush in very gently. I put it on my cheek and it would not blend. Like I had to put foundation over it and then like put like the tiniest bit. Let me swatch it for you. Like it is insanely pigmented. So if you have very deep skin, like this is probably going to be perfect, except for you have to, no matter what your skin tone, you're gonna have to blend it because it's like it is, that's what I mean by it doesn't blend. You still have to go in light and try to build it because there's a lot of pigment in here. I would dare to say too much pigment because it doesn't blend out. But, other than the blending issue, this is going to look beautiful on a lot of people. Okay. I also used today the Peach Glass Skin Primer. My face was so glowy. I used the Pacifica foundation, the Alight foundation. My face looked like a disco ball. It's not, but the thing is, it's not disco ball. That's not exactly correct. It was just really glowy, like no glitter or anything, but just really shiny. And I don't know if it was the primer or what, but it's the first time I've used it. It does have a peach scent that's very nice, but it's strong. So if you don't like that, you're not going to like it. So I used that, and again, more on that later. This is just first impression. I also use the Avocado Conditioning Clear Brow Gel, and it does seem to be holding my brows pretty nicely, but it's not crunchy. So I'm going to be playing with that more. And that's the Milani products that I used. I also got, which I'm so excited about, the Essence Disney palettes. And I know I trashed Disney and What's Up in Makeup today and said, they collab with everybody. It's not very exciting. I agree with that. I still stand by that. But after using this palette today, I'm excited for the direction that Essence is going with their shadow palettes, because in the past, I have not really liked their shadows. They blend away. They're just not great quality. I always recommend, not always, but a lot of times I'll recommend Essence eyeshadow palettes for teenagers because they're not very pigmented. They're kind of weak. This, I did not have that experience with this morning. I used the Snow White palette. So it's more an excitement about the shadows themselves rather than the Disney collaboration. So I'm still standing by. I think Disney collabs with too many people and it makes it boring, but the quality of the shadows in here is much better than what I have experienced with Essence in the past. Let me swatch a couple of these shades that I used today, just to kind of give you let me see, put it down here. I mean, that's way better than what I'm used to with Essence. So I'm excited to play with these more. There's more of them in here, but they're all wrapped. There's three palettes for three different princesses. And then there's three Lash Princess mascaras that match with the different princesses. They're the exact same Lash Princess mascaras, but they just have the princess on them. And then, oh, here we go. MF says the Disney collection and the villains from Catrice are also great. I have not tried the Catrice eyeshadows in a very long time. The last time I tried, I did not like it. So yeah, so that's definitely something I'm going to have to check out as well. But yeah, really excited to play with these more because I haven't shown you a lot of the Essence eyeshadow palettes. Like they came out with the Elements eyeshadow palettes. Those were not good. They were not good. I'm pretty sure I talked about them in the favorites and fails where they were not good. So I'm very excited. They're going in a different direction with their eyeshadow formula. Hold on a second. So yeah, so that's what's on my face today. So let's go ahead. Let's see. Dr. Alina, why is she promoting those cosmetics? Because I'm a makeup reviewer. That's what I do. It's like kind of my job and stuff. Why are you rolling your eyes at me for like doing my job? Like, you must be new here, my friend. Welcome. You must be new here. Hi, I review makeup. My name is Jen. Nice to meet you. All right, so let's talk about Hank and Henry real quick. Okay, so Allie from Truth Sleuth does have a video up that I watched most of this morning, but didn't have time to finish. of a live stream that he did was it like a week ago, something like that, where he see, this is trigger warning too. It's like everything these people are doing is so flippin' awful. Like, okay. It's like, how do I talk about this without being triggering? Like, I can't. Okay. So, trigger warning for when I talked about earlier, like doing something that you can't take back, like making a final choice decision, like giving you a chance to go out. So, he was talking about it's trigger warning for suicide. Okay. So, nobody killed themselves or anything, but he told somebody came into his live stream and was being rude. Allegedly, I think they said that they said something about his mother, and he said, "Go kill yourself, go hang yourself," something like that. And then he said over and over again he wasn't going to apologize. That he doesn't care what they do with their lives. That they can go kill themselves. And it got worse from there. And now all these other live streams are coming up where he was racist, called a Black trans woman an animal that you should, I mean, even saying these things out loud bothers me so much. Like, I don't even want to say it. But definitely go check out Ali's video for the receipts for the proof of it if you want to hear it. But what really bothers me about this is that I just bought one of his handbags. Like, I had no idea. I just bought one of his handbags. It's not here yet. If I can return it, I'm going to return it. I just don't even want to look at it. Like, I don't even want to look at this bag. Like, it was so cute. Like, I remember saying on What's Up Makeup, I just ordered a bag. Crossbody bag looks so cute. But if I'm able to return it, if his return policy allows for it, I'm just going to send it right back. So we'll have to see whether I can or whether it's final sale. But yeah, I mean, it's just, what is wrong with people? Like, just like, I get someone comes into your live stream, they go into your space and they say something awful to you. It's not your job to coddle them. It's not your job to, be kind to someone that was incredibly rude to you. But at the same time, there's just lines, that I personally feel like shouldn't be crossed. And, telling somebody to kill themselves, saying things that are racist. I mean, it's never okay. In my opinion, that's never okay. And there's no justification for that. I don't care what they said, like, I get being upset and maybe yelling, but it's like, my goodness. So, yeah. Yeah. See, now my contacts are drying out. Really? Come on, contact lenses. I went to the optometrist to try to fix this problem. Okay. Um, oh, that wasn't the one I meant to highlight. Sorry. Hello, though. So we're talking about Hank and Henry. Hank and Henry, if you do not know, I believe his name is Henry. He is a makeup brand owner. He owns Hank and Henry Cosmetics. If you get BoxyCharm, you've probably got some of his products in the past. Yeah. Yeah. Catherine says there's a big difference between being mean and telling someone to unalive themselves. Yeah. I did not get new contacts yet. I go back in another week and a half to hopefully get new contacts. I hope. So anyway, I just feel like just his whole demeanor in that live stream is just something that's just not. We don't mesh. It's not. It was awful. It was so awful. It was so bad. Like, and again, like, I get part of it where he was coming from, and he was saying, don't come into my space and tell me something awful. Don't come in my space, tell me something awful and expect me to cater to your feelings. Like, I get that, but at the same time, there's just lines that you don't cross. Like, you can say F you, like, whatever, but like, come on, man. It's just so bad. So bad. Yeah. Sandy says, don't apologize for not knowing he's a trash person. Yeah. I mean, it's like, now I know. Like, now and now that I know, I really wanted that bag, but it's like, there's so many other bags I could get. Like, I don't need that. I don't need that in my life. I just don't want to look at it, because it's got his like logo on it and everything. It's like, I don't want that in my life. So we'll have to see. Yeah, Sandra. Sandra says, I watched Truth Sleuth's video and then went on to dig around to see what else there is with this guy. I'm afraid this guy is just straight a despicable human, which is so sad. I've actually seen him at events. There was one event I saw him. It was an Ipsy event. I saw him one time, but it was not an approachable situation. Like I knew who he was. Like I'd heard of him. I think it was before he came out with his brand, um, but I didn't talk to him or anything. So yeah. Shay says, I think YouTube is exposing great content makers, but also highlighting unprofessional, famous people who think they can do as they like. It's a shame. Yeah. I mean, and the thing is there's so many people we can lift up. There's so many people that put out great content that are also great people. And it's just, nobody's perfect. Everybody has the ability to make mistakes. God knows I'm not perfect. God knows I make mistakes, but I'm not there's a difference between being human and making mistakes and being just a jerk. And it's so just, ugh, you know. Oh no. Ellen says, just check the website for you. It's not returnable. It's a bummer. Such a bummer. Ugh. Well, I guess he was right in setting that return policy. Yeah, Samantha says it's too bad because those bags are cute. I heard bad things, so I was always sketch on buying. I never heard anything bad. So yeah, I mean, it's just very, it's like, I hate to use the word disappointing, but it's like, come on, man, really? Like you've got this whole brand that you're building, like this whole cosmetic brand, like, and now you have a bag line, like, and it's using recycled plastic, and like, it sounded so cool. And it's just now like, you're a trash human, really? No. So what I'd like to do for the rest of chat, we have about 10 minutes left, is I want to talk about some of our favorite creators, some of our favorite people that we like and think are really good people. Doesn't matter the number of subscribers they have. Let's just shout out as many really good people as we can for the last 10 minutes. People that we just absolutely love. All right. Uh-oh. Some drama going on upstairs. Yeah, I could donate the bag to a women's shelter. Very true. Very true. Okay, Amy loves makeup. Oh my gosh, Amy loves makeup is such a sweetheart. I love when we talk about people that I've actually met, like, and hung out with. Like I met Amy through Samantha March and some other people. I guess it was through Samantha specifically. I met Amy, and she is just such a sweetheart. Bailey Sarian, of course, I have met her and collabed with her. She's incredible. Like, I mean, the most down to earth person. Like even now, she's so down to earth. Like she is not like she's just like, how did I get here? Like, it's kind of like her whole thing, like behind the scenes talking to her. She's just kind of like, I don't know how I got here. I'm just going to ride the wave kind of like, she is an incredible person, does not take, her success, into her soul. She's just a wonderful person. Katie Marie's a wonderful person. Samantha March is a good friend of mine. I talk to her multiple times a month, probably once every week or two. I talk to her. She's incredible. Emily Noel 83 collabed with her, had barbecue with her. I see, now this sounds like I'm just bragging about people, but that's not what I'm meaning to do. I'm trying to say that I've met these people in person. I can vouch for them. That's why I'm saying this. I'm not like, I met that person. I met that person. I know it's going to come off. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say I've met these people in person and I can vouch for that they're good people. Emily is one of them. I can vouch for her. I've met her. She's amazing. And you guys are mentioning all the people that I've met. Rob Beauty Christie, another amazing person, and just wonderful. I've never met Sabrina in person, but she seems like a lovely person as well. I've talked to her a little bit behind the scenes. Taylor also talked to a little behind the scenes. She's incredible as well. Y'all are picking some really good people. Let's see. Teresa is dead. Yes, I've given Teresa a hug before. Very proud to say that. Mel Thompson, just connected with her. Very excited to get to know her more again. Amazing. Robert Welsh. I'm not sure. I think I've talked to Robert a little bit behind the scenes. Very, very kind. Seeking Alexandria, another wonderful, wonderful creator. I love Paige. I'm going to stop saying that I've met or talked to these people because it sounds like I'm bragging and I don't want to like it to come off that way. So I'm just going to stop. Angelica Newquist, yes. We'll vouch for her as well, though. Audra at home, yes. Hi, Tia. Audra at home, one of my best friends. So, yes. Tia was my best friend in elementary school, just as a let's bring that around. Tia and I used to hang out after school, after elementary school. So, I'll vouch for Tia too. Yeah, Nadie's amazing. Yes, love Nadie. Vintage or Tacky. These are all people I can personally vouch for. All amazing people. Tammy Clark, I've never talked to her personally, but I love her. I kept saying I wasn't going to say who I'd talked to before because it sounds like I'm bragging. I can't stop because I just love these people so much. Karen Harris, yes. Lauren May Beauty, like take notes. This is the time to take some notes. Let's see. The people that I know. Yeah, y'all are great. Y'all are amazing. Sorry, Tia. Casey Holmes. I haven't watched Casey Holmes in a long time. I'll have to check her out again. Jamie French. Kinky Sweat. Oh my gosh. Oh, my heart. My heart just exploded. I love her. I love her so much. Pompberry, so incredibly talented. If you want an excellent, like special effects, like really good makeup artist, absolutely. Yes, y'all are really coming out with some really good people. Ooh, Andrea Renee, another good one. Emmy Supernova. Tara, yeah, Tara babies. We're just like listing off a bunch of people. Yes. I don't know if do we need 10 minutes of this? Is it getting annoying? I don't know. I feel like it's just like, Hannah Louise Poston, makeup just for fun. Y'all have great taste. Michelle Wong. Yes. Scrolling down. Andrea Mattiliano. Yes. Tina from the Fancy Face. I lost Tina. I lost the one that said Tina. Nima. Yes. Lacey from Spooky Lips and Fat Hips. I don't know. I feel like this is getting very repetitive. Let's talk about why we like these people. Like, what do we look for in a creator? Like, what are some things that we love about the creators that we watch? So now we've got like a list of a bunch of great people. I would say personally, when I get the feeling that they are being genuine to who they are, I love that. I love when somebody gets something in PR, but can also talk about the negatives of that product. Can also say, well, I like this about it, but I don't like this about it. Like that means a lot to me. Like if someone gets something in PR and they never mention any negatives about it, or if they do a sponsor video and there's no negatives at all, I kind of side eye it a little bit. Like it's definitely possible you may get something in PR and just love everything about it. I know that's happened before with me that I've got something in PR and I absolutely love it. Like I just talked about those M Cosmetics eyeliners, love them. There's nothing I can say negative about those things. They're amazing. But with the liquid blushes from M Cosmetics, I didn't really like those a whole lot, especially now that I've been using more liquid blushes recently. Like I love the packaging, but they're a little too difficult for me to work with compared to some of the other liquid blushes I've been using, especially recently. The Milani one, the CoverGirl one, those are they're just so much easier to work with. Like I still like the M Cosmetics ones, but they're not my favorites, even though the packaging is incredible. So just being able to say positive, negatives, that's a big deal to me when I'm watching a review. But really just like, they just seem like somebody that I would want to hang out with. And I think we all want to hang out with different kinds of people. So I think who I would want to hang out with may be different from who other people might want to hang out with. Like some of y'all, hopefully you want to hang out with me because that's why you're here. But there are some people that would never want to hang out with me, and that's okay. You can't be everybody's cup of tea. But what do you look for when you watch someone on YouTube? Like, what are some of the things that you love about those people? Yeah, here we go. This is interesting. Melody says, I love honest, not being brand purchased. 100% what you're saying, Jen, vibe and audio quality. Yeah, like audio and visual quality is really important to a lot of people. Definitely. Erica says, real, just plain real. There's moments you can see fake. Also, when the makeup looks achievable, something you can actually do every day. Yes, totally agree. Totally agree. Samantha, authentic humor, honesty, and shares difficulties. Yeah, I think that when you share that you're a real human that has problems, I think that that definitely makes somebody seem, more real because everybody has problems. It doesn't matter who you are. I see some people bringing up James and some things that we talked about prior. We're not going to talk about James anymore this chat, just because I want people to be able to watch the rest of chat. So I would love to answer your question, but I just can't because I want people to be able to watch the rest of chat that didn't want to hear about that. Yes, definitely. When you can tell that they're having fun, Alyssa. Yes, totally, totally. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Oh, this is interesting. Angie says not there for the clout or for the fame. Like they feel like they're genuinely doing it because they love it. Yes, totally agree. Totally agree. This is one I'm guilty of, Mary. How someone speaks, vocal burn, dropping T's and words, unprofessional. Like, do you like it when people do that? Because I get the vocal fry sometimes. I don't know whether it's my age or what, like, but I definitely can get like this sometimes. Like, depending, like, especially when I drop into my lower notes, sometimes, like, some people are like, "What's wrong with your voice?" And it's like, nothing's wrong with my voice. It's just the way that I talk. But also, I need to make sure I'm hydrated before I film too. Dropping T's and yeah, see, I don't know. I think that doesn't. I could see why that would bother some people, but I don't. Like the way someone talks doesn't bother me personally, but I can see why that would bother some people. I don't know. Yeah. I guess everyone's got their things that really bother them. I know some people like mouth sounds, like when somebody, makes sounds into the mic, that's just like a thing. They don't like misophonia. So, yeah. Oh, Mel says someone who takes the time to chat with their followers like Periscope, now Twitter Live. Paraloves. Hi, Mel. Yeah. Here we go. This is interesting. Tina says, someone that can hold my attention. LOL. That's hard for me. Humor and relatability are important. Quirkiness is a bonus. Yeah, I love people that are a little quirky. I do too. Oh, we are almost out of time. We've got about 2 minutes left. Regina, I watch different people for different reasons, whether I want to laugh, make up ideas, connection, or just mindless. Yeah, me too. Me too. Oop. Yeah, Joanna says, I hate that the way some people talk bothers me because I know they can't help it, but it does. Yeah, and everyone has their things. And if you shouldn't be force yourself to watch somebody that you're just not enjoying them, like ever. Yeah. Kyla says, I love how open Nima is about mental health and is paving the way for skin love. Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Consuelo says, I stopped watching a lot of YouTube. The only one I watch is you when you're on live sometimes because here over at 8 in the morning, I don't wake up sometimes that early. It's fine. And today's a weird day because, being Easter, I know a lot of people might be at church. It's the last day of Passover. So I know a lot of people have things going on this morning. And it's totally fine. Like every once in a while, I kind of get in my feelings a little bit about a video not getting as much attention as I thought it would. But I want to make sure I'm clear on that that's on me. It's not on my audience ever. Like if I want my audience to watch something, I need to make something my audience wants to watch. And it's anytime I ever vent about that, it's me taking it internally and saying, okay, like maybe this isn't working. Maybe I need to do something a little different. Maybe I need to pivot a little bit. Maybe I need to go this way because I want to create things that you all want to watch. And it's never, never, never any of my viewers' fault for not wanting to watch a video. That is totally completely on me. And if somebody doesn't watch one of my videos, I need to think about why, maybe it has lower views. Maybe people just aren't interested in that product or that topic or whatever. And I need to figure that out on my end. It has nothing to do I would never want you to watch a video out of guilt. Like, please don't ever do that for anybody, for anybody. Never let anybody guilt you into watching a video. It is not your responsibility, like ever. Never, ever. So, okay, we are now at 1 hour. I love this comment. Where did it go? It was so cute. Where did it go? I love this one. Joey, when someone was always obsessed. I love that. That's so funny. That doesn't bother me, but I can see why it would bother other people. I saw someone said, I lost it, but someone said, enjoy your chocolate bunny ears. I'm going to go enjoy my chocolate bunny ears. I have to go set up an Easter egg hunt in my backyard because we still do Easter egg hunt. I got all the eggs filled. My husband and I are going to hide them this year, though. This is the tip. This is what I didn't do last year. I didn't double check the number of eggs that I hid. So this year, I not only counted the eggs, but I also counted how many of each color. So if we lose one, we know what color we're looking for. I'm more prepared this year than I was last year. Usually we do Easter egg hunts over at my parents' house, but because of COVID, we haven't been going to my parents' house the past 2 years. And speaking of that, my parents are getting their second vaccine shot tomorrow and the next day. And John and I got our first shots. So we are doing good. A lot of muscle soreness yesterday, but other than that, like I can move my arm today, which is good. That's a positive thing. And going to be boosting up the immune system for shot number 2 in a few weeks. So very excited about that. Excited to see family again. So just a friendly general reminder, we are not out of the woods yet. Please be safe. Please be responsible. I care about you all and I don't want anything bad to happen to you. So please, please, please be safe. And yeah, mad love to you. Thank you for being here in chat. And I will see you in a video very, very soon. Bye.